let's get into it. The news of the day, VeeJay, of course, the Dallas Cowboys finally signed their star wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, to a 4-year, $136 million deal, $100 million guaranteed, $38 million signing bonus. He becomes, next to Justin Jefferson, the second highest non-paid quarterback in NFL. I'm sorry, second highest paid non-quarterback in NFL history. Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts on this deal?
Man, first of all, I'm happy the brother got his bread. You know what I'm saying? I'm never about nobody not getting their money. And you know how it is in life, man. Sometimes life isn't always about what you deserve. Sometimes life is about what you negotiate. So he negotiated a 4-year deal for $136, $100 million guaranteed. I've been on the train, though, of saying I would have taken care of Dak first, because I believe you need to take care of your quarterback before you take care of the rest of your pieces, whether you think fans or Twitter and social media believe somebody deserves something. Listen, in the NFL, if you do not have a quarterback, you don't have a shot. Now, what this deal does do is you're not going to get the Dak deal done, right? So Dak's probably going to play on his last year deal and become a free agent if they don't, be the first ones to say, hey, look, when free agent hits, here's the deal. We'll give you the $60 million, 62, whatever it's going to be, 58, 59, whatever, and you're going to stay here. Okay, cool. A gentleman's handshake, and that's the deal. But you give CeeDee Lamb this deal. Chris, let's say Dak ends up leaving, and now you have this top-notch paid receiver, and now you got to find another quarterback to get him the ball because he's not there in Dallas. It's not Cooper Rush. And I think from that last preseason game,
definitely ain't Trey Lance.
I was about to say, from that last preseason game, I think we all can agree that it ain't Mr. Trey Lance.
Trey Lance, VeeJay.
Man.
That was probably, I guess I can't say the beginning of the end because that started a while ago. But here's the deal with Trey Lance, and we'll quickly get back to CD.
Yeah.
He's not going to have another chance this season to redeem himself.
Nope.
He's obviously not going to play a lot. Cooper Rush, if something happened to Dak, they would go first to Cooper Rush because he's not going to turn the ball over like Trey Lance did. And even if Trey, as that scout team quarterback, plays well in practice, the Cowboys, no one's going to be looking at that as definitive of what he is.
No.
They're going to remember this. So my point is this. That, he may not get another shot at another, on another team. Yeah. He, obviously San Francisco, Kyle Shanahan, known for working with quarterbacks. They bailed on him. They had Sam Darnold ahead of him behind Brock Purdy. And then Dallas gets him. Gives him a chance in the preseason, and while I will give him that he had some nice wow moments, overall 5 interceptions in a preseason game against most guys that aren't going to even be in the league, you just can't have it. So he may have played himself out of the league very soon. And so it's unfortunate. But to your point about CD, my thing is this, VeeJay. The Cowboys, it's been a horrible offseason for them.
Check.
And while, of course, we all knew they were going to eventually sign CD, they should have signed CD, so I'm fine with it. But they could have signed him much earlier in the offseason, I believe, for less money. They used the term, we're waiting for the leaves to fall. Well, what in the world made you think the leaves were going to fall cheaply? When the leaves fell, the price was just going to go up and up. They should have signed him before all of these other receivers got signed, or at least after the first or second one. And then you probably could have got him for around $30 million.
Yeah.
But waiting until after Justin Jefferson just upped the price. And you knew you were going to do it all along. And this is what Jerry Jones does. And it is ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. I'll throw a few more names to you. It wasn't just Justin Jefferson. Let's not forget Jalen Waddle from the Dolphins got paid. And then Tyreek's deal got redone after Oos.
Amon-Ra St. Brown.
See, there's guys that got you right.
The 2 receivers in Philly got extensions.
Absolutely. So I agree with you there. And see, that's why I say you take care of guys, Chris, when the time comes then. It's going to cost you later for these owners that are going to, it's shown. The information is there. The evidence is there. The tape is there. When you wait, it costs you more. But with this situation, once again, I'm not mad at CeeDee getting his bread. I'm not mad at CeeDee getting this deal. I'm a guy that the market is the market, okay? It's not guaranteed. It's football. It's the most grueling physical sport that we have, maybe other than hockey, right? As far as American sports goes, the NHL.
Yeah, team sports.
Yeah, as far as team sports goes. Exactly. But in boxing, they want their money too. They want their money guaranteed.
Yeah, they all want them,
But if you do this deal now the way they've done it, it's cost you this much money. And once again, I just flipped this back to Dak. Now, what if Dak decides to leave? You are going to have a high-priced receiver that is going to be sucking up a lot of cap money at the skill positions, and you don't have a quarterback for him. That's why I just thought, and think about it this way, if they'd have took care of him early, they might have been able to get the Dak deal done too, Chris. They might have been able to get both deals done.
We don't get to Dak because they still could get that thing done. But here's what I would say to you about, and you're right. Many situations, I mean, just Exhibit A is the Las Vegas Raiders. You got Devontae Adams, this great high-priced receiver, and nobody to get him the ball. On the other hand, there are teams out there, and I don't think Dallas is in this boat, but, you know, if the situation played out like you just said, there are teams out there, VeeJay, that think, you know what? Let's stack the deck and then draft a young quarterback. And we think, like, it's really the Brock Purdy model. And San Francisco did it thinking Trey Lance would be that guy, right?
Yeah.
We got all these great players around, you know, as receivers and tight end, George Kittle and so on and so forth. Let's draft Trey Lance. He's on his rookie deal. He won't be making any money. And they'll make him, he'll be solid enough, and they'll even raise his level, and we'll be able to contend. It's instead of Trey Lance, it ended up being Brock Purdy. But I think that is a model that some teams are looking at, and that would be what the Cowboys would have to do. Now, it's difficult to get that guy because and the Cowboys aren't going to be bad enough. You know what I mean? They're not going to fall to the point where they get the first pick. But obviously, you can get a great quarterback. Might not be the first pick, but that I think would be the route they'd go. But I think VeeJay, and again, we'll get to Dak in the next segment.
Sure.
I don't think they've given up hope of signing him and bringing him back as their quarterback.
But see, here's the thing. See, there's too many ifs there. You see what I'm saying? Like, if they'd have got the deal done earlier with CeeDee, then we would know where we might be going with this. And if you want to, the point you're making about Trey Lance is perfect, right? They traded to get that pick. The Niners did. Let's go get a young guy. Okay, let's go get a little young buckaroo, little young whippersnapper, put him with the vets, and then and we're off and running. But how'd that work out? Brock Purdy.
Well, they were fortunate that they ended up falling into Brock Purdy.
That's the point I'm making. The last guy drafted, Rob G and I were talking before we came on the air, and it's, to me, Brock Purdy, I'm off the bang on Brock Purdy train, but that's an indictment on all the NFL scouts, right? That's an indictment on the guys that make the picks because he was the last guy. So you have to say, okay, who's coming out next year in the draft? One thing I don't like to do, Chris, is with teams, we got to play for now. I'm not worried about the quarterback that could be coming. I got to get the guy signed that I have now because I already know what he can do for me. Running a chance on not getting it done and somehow him getting the free agency and maybe losing him. And once again, now you paid CeeDee and you got this big time money. You still owe Micah. Yeah, you can franchise him if you want, but that's not going to make him happy.
Well, they'll pay him.
So yeah, they'll pay. So he'll get his money too. So, but all in all, I'm not mad at these deals, man. Honestly, I'm a guy that my sports talk angle on contracts, especially in the NFL, because you don't get all the money guaranteed. Next man up. I don't want to hear about who won what. I don't want to hear about none of that. If he's good enough to be next man up, then you have to pay the market value or somewhere in the range. If CeeDee had got 30, 32, 31, I wouldn't have been tripping. I'm like, okay, bro, it was a lot more than what you were getting. But to be up there above 32, where A.J. Brown is, St. Brown's at 30, if you think about it, there's only 4 receivers making 30, and it stops at Tyreek. Right. It's Tyreek, right. Brown, and Jefferson, and now CeeDee, which makes it 5. But if he didn't have to eclipse it, I still would have been fine with it. But it's, you know.
Where are you at on what do you think the Cowboys will do this year?
I honestly think the Cowboys are going to be just fine. They just still have so much talent. And a lot of football is about Jimmys and Joes. Yeah, you can have the good X's and O's, but you need some guys. And he's a guy. Dak's a guy. Micah's a game wrecker. He's a guy. They get Diggs back on defense, who was out for injury last year. They got studs on that roster, man. They're still, to me, 11, 12-win team. Dallas is not going to fall off the map. I'm not going to fall into that. I'm not going to fall into.
I got them making the playoffs.
Yes.
I got Philly winning that division, though.
Me
think
too.
This will be Philly's
remember, in the AFC East, it's something like 23 years.
Yeah,
it hasn't been a repeat win. Exactly. So we know
since 20. I think it's since 2004.
Yeah, so 20 years. So we know Dallas isn't winning the division this year, but that doesn't matter. There'll be a wild card. You're right. They would have to fall off the plan. Like, CeeDee would have to go down. Dak would have to go down. Like, they would have to literally just fall apart injury-wise for them not to show up on Sundays and, put up numbers. Last year, Dak, 4,500 yards, led the league in touchdowns, 70% completion percentage. That's not going to fall off the